if your team always knew what they needed to do next without having to be told or managed all the time? Senior leaders don't sit around waiting to be told what to do. Instead, they know what needs to be done, because when you own something emotionally, you take care of it because you care about it. Today, I'm going to show you how you can create that emotional buy-in with the rest of your team. Is your team too dependent on you for ideas, motivation, and execution? Do you feel like you constantly have to tell your team what to do? Do you find yourself answering the same questions over and over and over again? Do you feel like you constantly have to step in and fix things for employees? Today I'm going to explain why functional ownership is so important to helping you extend your reach and scale your business. I'm also going to unpack the key questions that you as a leader need to ask before assigning functional ownership, and I'm going to outline the 3 critical success factors every leader needs to have in place when implementing a functional model. Many owners wish their employees would take more initiative and act like owners. Here's the truth though. Your employees don't act like owners simply because in most cases, they're not owners. There's an enormous difference between being an owner and helping an owner. Just as there's a difference between being a parent and a babysitter. If you want your team to think like an owner, you have to give them the freedom to create like an owner. Why is this important? Because people support what they create. When someone owns something emotionally, the way they think about it, work on it, and commit to it is far deeper. It's impossible for you as the leader to implement new growth ideas as fast as you want or as is needed unless you create a structure of decentralized command where people have functional responsibility. See, functional ownership creates an emotional attachment. Functional ownership develops people. If you're wondering how to enable this with your team, start with these questions. First, what needs an owner? Right? Examine the areas of your business that, with the right focus, would enable you to extend your reach and scale. And then ask, who is the ideal person to own it? Who within your team has expressed an interest in making a larger contribution? When you activate the seekers within your organization, your ask becomes a lot easier because they're already open and willing to expand their learning. And third, you have to ask, how are you going to measure success? You must think through how you're going to track, measure, and monitor the outcome before assigning it. See, most leaders make the mistake of assigning the task as opposed to the result. Leaders can only be effective at managing a limited number of people. Generally, the rule is somewhere between 6 and 10 people. To work efficiently, teams must be divided into smaller groups, with senior leaders directly managing junior leaders who in turn directly manage a team of employees. I'm going to outline the 3 critical success factors when implementing a functional model. The first is to push decisions down. Senior leaders need to empower their junior leaders to take action and make decisions that get the overall team closer to accomplishing the goal. See, too many senior leaders believe they have a functional model in place with decentralized command, but in reality they don't. They don't, because every time a junior leader comes to them with a challenge, what do? They give them the answer. When a senior leader makes decisions for junior leaders, what they're really doing is they're robbing them of a chance to develop their own decision-making skills. They're teaching junior leaders to depend on them. Junior leaders need to understand the goal, and they need to be empowered to act. This doesn't mean they go rogue. That's not what I'm saying. They need to understand what falls within their authority and then consult senior leaders for advice on things that don't. Furthermore, junior leaders need to keep senior leaders in the loop with important information and updates. So the leaders who are responsible for keeping the big picture in mind can make informed decisions. I always call this give somebody a ringside seat. The second thing is you got to delegate the result, not just the task. Most leaders delegate tasks by assigning a series of steps they want some employee to take. Those leaders run the risk of people doing exactly what they say, but still not getting the job done. If instead a leader delegates the desired outcome, that is what they want the result from the assignment, it's more likely that that's what will actually be accomplished. Delegate the result, not just the tasks. And third, turn mistakes into teachable moments. If a junior leader makes a decision that doesn't work out, which is going to happen, don't punish them. Punishment will teach them never to take another risk. Instead, coach them, take them under your wing, coach them on what to learn from the experience so they can do better next time. The reality is everybody makes mistakes. Conscious leaders learn from them. No one will perform at their best if they're worried about making a mistake. You want your team to act because you know action changes things. Making a mistake is not the problem, it's what you do afterwards that really counts. And senior leaders need to ensure it's not the mistake their junior leaders are worried about, but instead the lesson they learn from it. Now imagine for a second, imagine how transformative your business will be if your leaders began to act like owners. Imagine if simply just one or two of them began to act a little bit more like owners. Trust, no one's going to ever be like you. Their job is not to sell like you. Their job is not to create like you. Their job is not to lead like you. Sometimes they'll be worse than you are at things. And guess what? Sometimes they're going to be better. But the thing is, they're never going to be the same. A functional model with decentralized command is how businesses grow. Start by asking what needs an owner, who is the ideal person to own it, and how you're going to measure it. Remember to push decisions down, not only when it's convenient, but in fact when it's really hard, so you can develop the decision-making skills of your junior leaders. Delegate the result, not just the task, and recognize that nothing is perfect. You have an opportunity to turn mistakes into teachable moments. Every leader can learn to embrace a functional model. Now is the time. If you want to grow your business, now is the time. Don't worry about where you are, what you've done, or what you failed to do. Today, like every day, is a new beginning. Today is an opportunity to empower your junior leaders and support their growth, because it is their growth that, in fact, is going to enable yours. If you want to elevate your leadership team, follow the link in the description and schedule an exploratory call. Let's schedule a call to discuss the tools, training, support that is available to develop and transform your leaders into growth champions for your business. Okay, if you like this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, share a key takeaway in the comments, and of course subscribe, because each week I'm sharing content to help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. Remember, you're just one idea away. We'll talk to you soon.